Today, I want to talk about the lifestyle that goes along with being a creator because there's awesome aspects to it, there's a bunch of pros, and there's also some cons. There's some challenges that definitely come along with either being a freelance creator or even owning an agency. My experience is I went through a school system where most of my life, from elementary school all the way through college, I had my schedule made for me. Even in college, when I made my classes, once I made my classes, that was my schedule for the next semester, and I just needed to follow that flow. And aside from the adjusting deadlines for homework, there wasn't much change. I just needed to get used to my new schedule at the beginning of every semester and then just follow that flow. After getting out of college and beginning to offer photos and video services and get into this whole world, I realized that I'm really the master of my own schedule. There's filming days, there's shooting days, there's days I need to be available, and there's going to be production, and I'm going to be busy, and that could literally be like waking up at 4 a.m. and going to sleep at like 3 a.m., like crazy hours. The shoots are always dependent on like what's going on or what's available. A lot of times it'll include a lot of travel, and it's the nature of the job, right? And then the other days are being in my home office. I do not have a schedule made for me. I do not have a 9 to 5. I don't have a boss. So if you don't have a productive day, it's not like there's going to be an immediate consequence. You're your own boss, and as long as you get your projects done, you're going to be fine. And it ends up being this like way more flexible schedule, and it's challenging. Like it's like so different from the whole like rigid schedule of being in school. So there are a couple of things that I found to be really helpful in this situation. If you're finding yourself with too flexible of a schedule, and as long as you're meeting your deadlines, you're not really sure like where your day is going, and you end up in a space like I did where I'm like not 100% always knowing like what my next task is, and if I don't necessarily have a task list for my day, then I'm kind of like drifting. And that drifting feeling is not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good. I like to move and do and create and have things at my fingertips to be working on. It could be even a little demoralizing to not necessarily have that next project, that next thing to be working on. So something that I've found is having that routine anyways. Even though you don't necessarily have a boss, you don't have a 9 to 5, you're not going to be signing in or like losing off of payroll if you don't show up at a certain time. You'll be fine. So even though you don't have that rigidness, and that's a blessing because that means that you have the flexibility to be doing other things with your life, and you could show up for people and do things, maybe spend more time with your kids, whatever it is. So it's an amazing pro, but the con to it could be the drifting. So what I found is having that routine anyways. So you wake up at a certain time, you have that thing that you eat for breakfast. I've found that even like just wearing black shirts every day is I don't need to decide my wardrobe. I pretty much wear the same thing every single day, and it helps me just get into a routine, into a flow, and having things that are just a you thing, right? So it's not for your business. You don't have to wake up and start working on your business and work at odd hours. It's okay. Like you could totally wake up and have a routine for exercise, eating, nutrition, connecting with your family, and then get to it, right? Because at the end of the day, if your projects get done, then you're good. So what I really try to avoid is that when I have projects, I'm just like consistently focused on just that project, and I'm not dealing with these routine things that are for me. Because as soon as I don't have that project, then I need to fall back onto these routine things. So, for example, if I'm working on a documentary, then I could work from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., even later, and just hammering out edits and revisions and just keep going and having like crazy hours, and then the project's over. Okay, so, and like now what? I wake up the next morning and like, okay, I could put something on social media, I could, as opposed to, no, I wake up in the morning and I exercise and I drink a glass of water and I eat like my yogurt and I have this, and then I know that I try to put something up on LinkedIn and I try to put something up on social media. I use the word try because it's not a definite, it doesn't always happen, and I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. But these routine things are what I fall back on when I'm not working on that big project and I don't have that thing to just laser focus into. So that has been hugely helpful. So there are things that are like just for you, and they will eventually help you in your business, but they're just for you. Exercising, eating, connecting with your loved ones, taking care of tasks in your own life, like shopping and all these things that need to get done, laundry. So I try to like schedule these things for early in the morning. I take care of myself first, and then I allow myself to nail my focus onto like just these projects and go all in. And by having this routine, I kind of like made my own schedule. And not being my own boss, I enjoy my flexibility, but having my own routine that I stick to as much as I can has been so helpful as a creator who owns my own business and doesn't have anyone chasing after me.